Hey. Hello, Facebook family, YouTube family. It's your girl Crystalline with Aspire Thursdays, and I have a very special guest. I know him as Coach Jessie Bowen, but he's going to introduce himself. He is a coach. He's an amazing businessman. He's a mentor. He's just awesome. And he's known me since, as he used to say, I was a teeny bopper. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. Welcome.
Hello, hello. I am Jessie Bowen, and I used to live in Durham, North Carolina. I retired from Duke University and sold my business. And I did like the other old folks. I guess I moved back to my home where I grew up. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's something that we've heard. You get older now, you retire, and you go back to where you used to.
Go back to your kin folks.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I'm sure you were happy out there. So nice, peaceful life in the big house.
It's all right.
So tell everybody, I mean, I know, a lot of your story, but it's very inspirational and it's always helped to encourage me over the years. So tell us about your beginning, what you aspired to do and what you have done up to this point.
Wow. Well, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you. And I am super proud of you.
Thank you.
We were just talking about you a few weeks ago and how much of a, inspirational person you are. And I have seen you grow and seen you develop. And that's always great. Again, my name is Jessie Bowen, and we know each other from my martial arts. I'm a 10th degree black belt. I'm still involved in the martial arts. Started my own organization, the American Martial Arts Alliance Foundation. But I was located in Durham, North Carolina, bought a franchise 38 years ago, and was able to sell it, so able to build value and continue to build value in my business. And so many times we're not able to do that. We start something, but we don't see the end in mind. I follow Stephen Covey, and I believe in, start with the end in mind. What do you want it to be when it's all over, or when it's finished? What do you want? I was on staff at Duke University for 27 years. I've been a volunteer in the community, building the martial arts, a sports coordinator for the USOC, a sports coordinator for the Olympic Festival. In fact, I just got an invite for the next international festival. I think it's in 2028 or something like that. I'm going, that's great, because I'll take that job. That's my inspiration to keep it moving forward.
There you go.
Look out. But with all of that and becoming a corporate educator, been blessed to travel to the world and teach for Nike, Raytheon, American Express, Swiss Re, to be able to do all of those things. And that's what I'm about now is really about sharing how to be better. You asked me about my beginning. I grew up in a little town about 30 miles from Washington, North Carolina. I'm a country boy. All I know is hard work, in that tobacco field and cucumber patch and all that stuff. But it really gave me a sense about what hard work is about. It also taught me what I don't want to do. I grew up as an only child, and I went to school, and I was picked on all the way through school. And things that kids are going through now, I went through the same thing. When I was growing up, we didn't have that nice, neat word like bully. If you didn't fight back, you were a coward. You were just expected to fight back. And I was never that. I was that new generation coming up. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fight. But nobody told the other kids that. And that experience of being picked on, I never played sports. I never did it. I was just that kid. I was the last kid to get picked on to play basketball and all of those things. I felt like I was that I didn't meet up to my dad's standards. All those things that kids go through. And I was trying to, there was no way for me to prove that, because I wasn't about to get out there and fight. I wasn't that type of a kid. But that experience, and then taking it into high school, and again, we look at the violence that we have going on now. We had violence then. We didn't know about it. Having a gun pulled on me, almost losing my life. Same thing that we're going through now, but God spared me.
Right.
Because he has a higher purpose in my life.
Absolutely.
And so my wife is a pastor, and we try to teach that no matter where you are, God has a higher purpose in your life. If you think you are falling, all it is another step to something of your own greatness.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that you may be going through now is to make you stronger. You'll be surprised at the number of people that I meet every day that we have the same story.
Mm-hmm.
They were picked on. I have a friend of mine. He failed the 7th grade 3 times. Now he has he's a doctorate degree, and he teaches all over the world. But he failed the 7th grade 3 times. But you see, that was his launching pad.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't quit.
Right.
He became the only person in his family of 14 that actually has a college degree.
Wow.
He became educated. There's nothing wrong with education.
Mm-hmm.
He became educated, and he discovered that he could do better. He joined the Army. I recommend to anyone that cannot find their purpose, if you can't find a good martial arts school, join the military. Have someone for 3 or 4 years tell you what to do, and you then do it to develop that discipline of going. And that's where we actually fail, is that discipline. We don't know what it is. You need sometimes to be in a place that you can be disciplined so you can understand it. And that's the reason why joining the martial arts after running away from Pantego, North Carolina, and coming to the big city. And I was 20 years old when I actually left from my hometown. Up until that period of time, I had never been over 60 miles from where I grew up.
Wow. Now you've traveled the world.
This is when I'm 20 years old, but I'd never been more than 60 miles from my house. And I had a situation that threw me out of the community that I wound up in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the first day I got in Raleigh, I am straight up country. And in the country, your car is like gold. Back in the 70s anyway. And I got to Raleigh, my car was towed the first day. And we didn't have GPS and none of that stuff. We had a road map. And I told my best friend, I said, man, draw me a map. I have to leave. I have to go back home, because having my car towed, I mean, in the country, you got a pipe and a chain. In the city, they have tow trucks.
Right.
But I laugh about that because I think it's important. So this is important because someone may be experiencing that they have been thrown out of a situation.
Mm.
They're the fish out of water, and they feel like they're lost, and they have one thing that says, oh, no, I can't do this. And I told my friend, I said, because he convinced me to leave and, to come to Raleigh. And I'm going, no, this is day one, my car get towed. And I'm going, no, I'm going home. I got to go home. It's my mama, And they paid to get my car back because I didn't have enough money to get my car back from being impounded. And I was in Raleigh looking to over at North Carolina State to try to be I was looking at restaurants to be a cook. I was looking to be a cook, and God plays jokes on you sometimes. God had my car towed away, so I had to leave from over there. And my friend convinced me to stay one more day. He says, Jesse, stay one more day. I said, okay, man, I'll stay one more day, then I'm going home. And that next day, I got a call from Rockwell International, and they hired me and as a general machinist. And at that time, Rockwell was building, valves and stuff for nuclear power plants. And they trained me to be a general machinist. And I got involved in the martial arts, and my world changed. For the first time, I met a man, my teacher, Jan Wellendorf. He owned Karate International. He told me that I could be good. He says, Jesse, you're going to be good. I came to class every day so I could hear him tell me that I would be good. Nobody ever told me I would be good. My daddy didn't tell me I was going to be good. Now, my mama told me she loved me, but nobody told me I would be good at anything. In my senior year in high school, we had our business report we were doing. And I really got into that thing. I put every ounce of energy I had into it. And I did my business report and I turned it in. I'm sitting to the back. I know I've done a good job. I'm waiting for Miss Smith to call me to the front, to pat me on my head, tell me, Jesse, you did great. Miss Smith says, Jesse, come to the front. I said, yes, ma'am. I'm ready. I'm waiting to be patted on my head. And Miss said, did you write this? I said, yes, ma'am. With a big smile on my face. She said, no, you didn't. And she tore it up and put it in the trash can.
Oh, wow.
But if I could dig her up today, that inspired me. Those moments of falling on my sword inspired me. It inspired me that I didn't want to fall on my sword anymore. My teacher told me that I would be good. And I got involved in the martial arts because there was a guy on my job that wanted to beat me up, and Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee had come out. I just left Pantego, North Carolina, because I wanted to get beat up. And here's a guy on my job going to beat me up, and he knows something called Taekwondo. And I saw Bruce Lee throw all those guys around, and I'm saying, "Oh man, that'll hurt." And I called every martial arts school in the city, and Karate International was the only school that opened the phone. See, God is powerful. My life is on a direction. I was born with a direction.
Absolutely.
Born with a purpose. I'm up there with the Wright brothers. I'm up there with Henry Ford. I'm up there with Martin Luther King. Just think about it. If the Wright brothers had not been born, we may have been 50 years before we got an airplane. What if Martin Luther King, this is scary. What if Martin Luther King had not been born? That would be scary. So we look at how many, so those people have a purpose, and God put those people here to be in that purpose. So this is where you have to think. I'm not talking about being religious. I'm talking about spiritual. And I tell my daughter, I said, I don't care what you believe, you'll be okay. But I tell you this, before you leave this world, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. So I don't have to worry about you,
Right.
But that's what I'm saying is that we live in this place. So, when someone looks at my life and all the things I've done, I've written over 30 books, I've traveled the world. I speak in front of, corporations, and I have impacted the world. I have impacted students. One of my students, they've just come out with this a pill for the coronavirus. She got the shot. Now they have a pill. One of my black belts created that. George Painter. Is one of my black belts. His kids are my black belts. And so when I saw that, I'm going, is that George Painter? Is that my George? My God. But it makes you feel good when you see that people that have gone through your training, or you have touched, or you've been there and you have helped elevate these people. Someplace in there, you hope that there's something that you said or something that you did to inspire them. That's the reason why, we have to work on making the world a better place. Forget about, is the world black or white? Forget about, what you have to do is have love. Love has no color. Love has no politics. Love doesn't lie. Love is. And when you love someone, you cannot have a better relationship until you love in that relationship. You cannot be successful until you love being successful.
Absolutely.
Success doesn't mean money.
Right.
Success does not mean money. I know a lot of successful people are miserable. They're unhappy. So success, am I successful? Am I successful in my relationship with my wife or my significant other? Am I successful in my relationship with my children? Am I successful in my financial life? Am I successful in my business? so you see, the thing with it is when you create success, it's not one dimensional.
Right.
Success is about everything that you do. Your abundance. I just wrote my first Christian book, and it's called God Gives Me Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's been about 7 years ago, and you were with me during that time that God came into my life. I'm not going to make it sound like I was a heathen out there.
You weren't out in the streets and that, but
but if a church song came on, I would turn the radio. Okay, I can't listen to that. It was it was it wasn't running, but I knew
right
from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I hear about it, then I have to be accountable to it.
Absolutely.
And I really would like to share this because it was Easter. It was Easter Saturday, and I don't take naps. I'm a night owl. I don't take naps. And I went to sleep, and I remember waking up crying. And I was waking up crying, and this spiritual thing was all over me. I was crying, and all of a sudden these visions started to come to me of all these things were happening. There was something get ready to happen in my life that would have a great impact. And I picked up the telephone and I started making some calls. And the vision that God gave me when I woke up, it was really happening to me in real time.
Wow.
But at that moment, my life changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've done is to, it's a whole story behind, Gwen and our relationship. She's a pastor, but she wasn't a pastor when we met. We're on this God journey,
Absolutely.
So, again, everyone, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality.
Right. Relationship.
Every day. You're on a journey every day. And there's two things that really happen. You're born and you die. And everything from being born to dying is what you do in between that period of time. It's about that, God may be speaking in your life, or you may know that you should be doing something, that there's a better life for you, but you haven't recognized that. And so, what I try to teach in my coaching program, I'm a certified life coach, a sports hypnosis coach, an NLP coach. So I'm just not a guy that just said, well, this is what you do. No, I had to study. And what you want to do, you want to study success. The first book my martial arts instructor gave me that I could not read was Think and Grow Rich. It was Think and Grow Rich, because I had a mentor that he was successful in his own right. And, when I joined Karate International, I was the only African-American in the class. So maybe I was a project,
Listen, you are a trendsetter. Opened up doors.
But maybe I'm the only one that called. I know when I was calling around for karate schools, so I didn't want the guy to beat me up. I didn't care who was the teacher. Teach me how to not get beat up again. I am tired and it hurts. But he gave me that book and I read it. And just like with the business plan, I was intrigued about it.
Mm-hmm.
I began to study other successful people. I began to get motivated. Not only back in the 80s, the cassettes were coming out in the 90s, and I bought cassettes. I did training programs. I became certified in mental performance stuff, in meditation. I became a silver instructor because I had to discover myself. And every time I talk about this, or every time I talk about a class, or I'm in a class, it's not what I give the class, but it's what I get from myself, to hear myself speak. Because a lot of times I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next. What's that, Jesse? What's coming next? But that's what we're talking about. Who lives inside of you?
Right.
What's that voice going to be saying to you? You and
Right.
I met, but we don't really know why we met.
Mm-hmm.
Met
Mm-hmm.
for karate for your son, but
Mm-hmm.
then staying in contact and working together, for several years, we don't really know the reason why, because there
Right.
could be something much bigger than what we actually see. But we would have to
Absolutely.
ask ourselves, why are we still working together? Then that answer may come to us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you said so much, and your story is amazing. But for one thing, little known fact, Hanchi was one of the first people that really poured into me about life coaching. And it was amazing because, again, I do believe in God's plan and his purpose. And it was coming from, at that time, I was full-time dental hygienist, into that, just I love wellness. So I, enjoy taking care of my patients and all that kind of good stuff. And every day he would see me, he's like, you're a coach. You're a coach. You're a coach. For years, he would say that you're a coach. And then it started coming from other places. Patients would say, well, have you ever thought about life coaching? And then my uncle said, well, have you ever thought about life coaching? And it was just the words, were just coming over and being spoken over my life. And that's part of what I'm hearing you say is a lot about the words and also the work that you have to put into practice. But first you have to have that thought, and that thought becomes words. And so part of what we wanted to talk about today is, this is the Christmas season. It's the season of giving. And one of the things, a big thing that we have the gift of is abundance. And as Hanchi mentioned, it's not just about wealth. It's about overall success, abundance of love, abundance of loving relationships, abundance of health, abundance of wealth, all those things, because we are blessed to receive so that we can also give. So that is part of it. But it definitely starts with your words and your, speaking that positive confession or that affirmation of your life that helps to change your thought pattern. And just like you said, Think and Grow Rich, like having those personal development books and tools and doing the work so you can actually build that, because most of us don't grow up in the situation where we're just constantly being poured into our entire lives of, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great, you can do it. But we still have a purpose and God still has a plan for us anyway. He loves to use imperfections and make those, so that we know that it wasn't us, it was his glory that that deserves all the praise. So it's kind of, I always like to look at kind of life cycles. So I can kind of look back and remember back to elementary school, like going, just being excited to get to school early, to work in the student stores. And always, like when I look back, I always had little entrepreneurial ventures and things in business. And I heard that same thing with you. The paper that you wrote was a business paper, that you didn't get. Obviously it was done so well, she didn't think you could have possibly done it, but here, that's just a cycle of what ended up being a major part of your life, is that business and multiple businesses and helping other people like myself create their own businesses. So here I am, fast forward, 6 years later, I've had, a coaching business for the last 5-6 years. And Hachi's always encouraged, you always get more education. So not only do I have, I'm certified as a life coach, I'm certified as a business coach, I'm certified as a holistic nutritionist, I'm certified as a wellness coach. So, you just keep growing and you keep building and you keep learning and you just continue to walk forward, and God will continue to reveal part of his plan to you as you keep doing the actions.
Well, you're absolutely right. And, so what you have to do, so if you're, our listeners today, stop for a moment. If you ask a question, Lord, how can my life become better? Be aware an answer is going to come. You see, you have to be willing to receive. So if you ask me a question, you would expect for me to give you an answer. You see, that answer, that's like you were saying a few moments ago. How many people do you meet that say, you need to be a life coach, you need to be a life coach, you need to be a life coach, you need to be, and you go, that's why I wrote the book, God gives me vision. I bet you I had 10 people in 1 week that says, Jessie, you have great vision. Jessie, you have great vision. You're really a visionary. You're really a vision. And then I went to sleep, hearing this here. And in the sleep, God comes and says, Jessie, write the book. Tell them where you got it from. So I wrote the book. God gives me vision, and it's not about in this scripture-based book.
Mm-hmm.
It is now reality of 21st century goal setting and achievement, but it's also spiritual based to go back and prove that this information is already there.
Right.
It's already there. It's not any new information. If you want to know how to live, go to the Bible.
Absolutely. That's our manual.
That's already there. So that's what I did. I took everything I knew about goal setting and what I knew about the Bible with my wife's help, and I combined those two. So God Gives Me Vision is not a book about what Jessie says. It's about what God says, and Jessie filled in the 21st century blanks.
Absolutely.
But think about it. How many times has God spoken to you, or have you heard this voice that you didn't interact with? Now, you've asked me about abundance, but I'm talking about abundance now. Because you can realize that voice tells you what to do. And no, you're not crazy. You're crazy if you don't hear it. That's if
right.
you don't hear the voice, you're crazy. Something is missing. So what happens is that, your abundance, I've been called to write this new program, and this is about mindset, the abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, Lord, why are you having me write this here? I mean, people tired of me talking about, how to get better, how to make your life better. Here you got me talking about abundance. And if you have me to do it, I'm gonna have to go out and talk about it. So, and I went to it was Barnes and Noble. I was looking up the book, God Gives Me Vision. And I went to my Barnes and Noble website. Now, this is no place on any other website, where my book is listed. It's on 40,000 websites. But I go to Barnes and Noble, and at the end of it, it says, learn to receive. And I'm going, huh? I'm going, who messed this up? I said, why is this there? And I'll go back, and this is the only website. I'm going, man, we're going to change that. And all of a sudden it began to hit me. We all have abundance. It's right there in front of us all the time.
Absolutely.
But you don't know how to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the same thing of hearing that someone's telling you. So out of all my websites, I go to one website, and there's this typo there that says learn to receive. So this is what I'm perceiving, that my mission is to help people not to learn about abundance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to teach about abundance. It's already there. Your wealth abundance is there.
Mm-hmm.
How much money do you consider as wealth? Can you write it down? Can you achieve it?
Right.
It's a whole formula. Someone says, well, I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, but what you do, you divide that by 12. Okay, then you divide that by the number of days in the month, by that 30. You divide that by the number. I break it down to the second. How much money do I need to earn per second to be able to accomplish my goal? So you break it down to the smallest point, and then you move it forward. You want to make $1 million? That's not a job. That's not a problem. You just need to understand the formula that it takes for you to be able to do that. If wealth is what you want to have, you want a better relationship. Very first thing I'll tell you about a relationship. You want a better relationship? Then start to study all the information you can learn about relationships. Mm-hmm. So you can be a better person when you receive it.
Absolutely. Yes, that is key.
You meet that person, when Miss Gwen and I met, I wrote an ebook called Relationship Rescue. I've been in a relationship for 19 years. And so I started studying. I wanted, after 19 years, there's got to be some new technology. So I I started to study. I mean, on my radio show, I had a blog show. I was bringing on psychologists that were dealing with relationships to talk about relationships. I wrote the book, A Relationship Rescue. And as I began to study, and then Gwen, God brought Gwen and I together, and I was prepared for this new relationship. And ever since that Easter Saturday, I've been on an elevator. I have not have to walk up the steps to success.
Mm-hmm.
I have been on this elevator, that we've written. We've written 8 books, and 4 of those 8 books have been bestsellers. They've created phenomenal revenue, and we just received the approval to be a presenter for the Presidential Award for Community Service. So I'm on an elevator. I don't walk anymore.
Excellent.
I mean,
that's it. That is awesome. I love it. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said you have to be ready to receive, because it's like you said, with abundance and all the things of God, really, they're there. Purpose is there. You were created with a purpose. You were created with the ability to produce wealth. You were created in abundance. You just have to be in position and listen to that still small voice and be in position to receive, and then be willing to take the necessary actions, because it's still going to take work, because faith without works is dead. You still have to, there's a work that's involved, and you have to be disciplined enough to do that and obedient to whatever it is that you're called to do. So I love that. So this has just been so awesome, you guys. This is just going to be this is a part 1 right here, because when I sit down with Hanchi, we could go on and on and on. There's just so much wealth and of knowledge that I gain here. And I hope you guys have received some value. I know that you have, but I want you to be able to connect with Hanchi. So give us your information. How can people connect with you? Where are your books located? All that kind of good stuff.
Okay, well, great. Thank you. Well, I am looking for people that we all have a story. And I want to help people to be able to get it out. As I said before, we've had these award-winning books. We've had these profit centers, and it's not about profit centers. There's 3 reasons why someone would write a book. Number 1 is something that I always wanted to do. Number 2 is something I want to help me do something else. Maybe I wanted to help me promote my coaching business, or maybe I wanted to help me open a bigger door to something else. And the 3rd reason is because I have information that would benefit a lot of people. So I want to turn that into a profit center. So those are the 3 things that I look at. Our website is elitepublications.org. So what I try to do is help people to monetize their story, to tell their story. Maybe you just want to leave a book, information for your great grandchildren, that they can know who granddaddy is. So you can write that and tell your life journey, because, I have no idea who my grandparents were. I don't know anything about them. Am I curious? Yes, I am curious about them. I look at, where we are today. I'd like to know about them. So by being able to do a short biography book, which is really inexpensive to do, to be able to do that, they can share that story. Maybe you have a coaching business, hint, and you really want to have a big key. So your book becomes like a giant business card. Like I said, I coach for Duke Corporate Education, Duke CE, and they're rated as in the top 5 companies in the world. But I've written all these books on personal development training. So nobody had to question me, well, let me see your application. Well, let me send you a copy of my book. So think about that. I send you a copy of my book. Okay, we want you. And you're a certified life coach too? Okay. So again, it can do that. But there's so many ways that we can help you to tell your story. And it can be fiction or nonfiction. We can create your audio books, ebooks. We can publish in multiple languages for you. We can do, we're a full publishing company. So you can go there. You can call me or text me, 919-618-8075. Schedule a time. Go to the website, schedule a time. We're going to be, even if you're an author and your book is not doing well and you want to know how to promote your book, then, give us a call. We'll share with you. Hey, listen, it doesn't cost you anything to call me up and for me to share information with you. All of that's free. Anything that we can do to help make you better, make the world better, those are things that we really want to do.
Excellent. That's so exciting. So elitepublications.org.
Right.
So definitely check out the website. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who know they have books inside of them and they haven't put those out to the world yet. So definitely check out elitepublications.org. Again, thank you so much, Hanchi, for joining me this afternoon. It's been amazing having this conversation. And you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another edition of Aspire Thursdays. We hope that you have been inspired to do what it is that you're called to do. Go achieve those hopes, those dreams, those aspirations. And until then, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.